Okay, just a quick note. This is a re-upload on a video I did yesterday with more information and more detail on both the project and the basic concept. Hi, this is your Prepper Tech. Now, the videos on this channel will be based around the central theme that I want general and advanced preppers, as well as anyone else interested, to maintain a higher standard of living after SHTF. Now, my goals will be to teach you about power generation, power usage, power storage, and power transport. These are four big pillars in our society today, and I'm sure that it'll make you a pillar in the society to come. The project we're working on today is called a gravity light. Now, you can purchase a gravity light online for $70 to $80, but that's a pretty steep price. We'll be building one ourselves for around $10, maybe less. It depends on where you live and if you order from Amazon or Alibaba or wherever. Now, the gravity light is great because it teaches you both about generation and storage in very novel ways. So instead of using a battery storage system, it uses gravity to store the power. And instead of using a steam or some sort of heat to generate power, it uses a falling object to generate power. And this can be fairly efficient. And it's a great project to do by yourself or with your kids. Anyways, you'll be needing a DC motor or servo motor is what I recommend. You'll also be needing an LED, and that's essentially it for the basic generator. You'll also be needing a wheel and some wire as well as weight for the gravity. All right, now as I open the servo motor here, you notice that one, I've already broken off the main board, and two, this motor here is actually just a DC motor. Now these are regular hobby motors, so essentially with a hobby motor you can just follow along exactly as the servo motor, as long as you understand that the motor inside your servo motor, so the motor attached there, should typically be a DC motor. And if you don't spend some exorbitant amount of money on it, it will pretty much essentially always be a DC motor. Now, all you need to do for the basic concept here is attach two wires to these two terminals. If you bought your own motor, you'll notice that you'll likely have holes in your terminals. Simply wrap your the legs or wire through there and twist it around. Another thing you'll need is an LED. This is not the one I'll be using, but this is a style that you can use. And they're fairly cheap. You can buy probably a block of 100 for maybe $1 or $2. And yeah, this guy right here. This is a soldering iron, and this is used to melt solder to attach points. So I kind of lied. I guess I will be using this terminal here just to show you how it's done. I do recommend you get a larger servo motor than this. Attaching these terminals to these legs. Now, in the case of a DC motor, it doesn't matter which way you put it because you'll just need to wind the generator in a different direction. But typically, it does matter when using LED because there is a one-way polarity. Now that this is attached, you can reinsert the DC motor into your servo motor. And for the most part, you will be done. Some motors have a secondary limiter besides the potentiometer that you'll rip out when you cut this board here. And that would be underneath this guy here. Yeah, now that I got it off, it'll be underneath the hood here. And typically on the bottom of this gear, this one had it. You can just take a piece of pliers and tear them off so it's flush along the bottom. You can see the remnants there. Do not try not to strip the teeth, and you should be fine. Now, make sure you also place the gears back where you found them in the same spot. Otherwise, you might get some ganashing there, and it won't run properly. Now, what you have here is a generator. Now, you can use this for a lot of things, including signaling and even transmitting information from house to house if you know how. I'll be getting into how to make a telegraph line powered by a system based around a simple generator like this, even one this size, depending on your distance, of course. But now we'll focus on the gravity wheel and using gravity to generate power to power a light. Remember, the power doesn't have to power a light, but in this case it will, because light's easy to see. Okay, the concept here is pretty simple. I have another servo here attached to a wheel I made. In this case, it's made out of a connecting part that comes with the kit you usually buy a servo motor with, and a bottle cap to hold up the other side. I use some screws to make the wheel itself, and then that's literally it with the same modifications I made to the other servo motor. Now, this specific gravity light is run by an amazing, a few gallons of some company that would probably sue me if I said their name, but it does the job. It's filled with water right now, not entirely, but partially full of water, and it runs back and forth into what I would call a very primitive block and tackle system, because I don't own tiny pulleys. My cherry blocks are way too big for this, and these tiny pulleys, any tiny pulleys would be, a waste of time. Anyways, watch what happens when I release it. Now this goes on for about a minute, and the more lines you're going back and forth from it, the longer it will last. I'll go over block and tackle systems in another video. But yes, this is essentially the system for generating power for at least a decent amount of time. You can scale this upwards. There's really nothing limiting the size of the generator. Besides the amount of rope you have, the amount of weight you have, and the size of the motor you can get. So a large electric car motor can do this probably with a humongous weight to power your house or something. And you'd also need a large hull and also a large weight. Alright, so I guess this is the basic system that you should know. Motor, wheel, and weight. That's essentially all you need. Okay, so this is my first video on power generation and storage. If you want to know more about how gravity is storing the energy, I'll make another video. Comment below with any questions or comments. And tell me what you want to see, which is important to me, as well as any clarifications that you would like me to make in this video, so you can enjoy this project either with yourself or with your kids for better preparation. Take care, have a good day, and come back next time. Okay, so this is my first video on power generation.